Let's take a look at the moment the Queen's passing was announced on the BBC. Hugh Edwards first breaking the news from Buckingham Palace that the Queen had died. Take a look.
A few moments ago, Buckingham Palace announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. The Palace has just issued this statement. It says the Queen died peacefully at Balmoral this afternoon. The King and the Queen Consort will remain at Balmoral this evening and will return to London tomorrow. Within the past few minutes, Buckingham Palace has announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
For more now on the breaking news on the death of Queen Elizabeth, we're joined by Daily Mirror Royal Editor Russell Myers. Russell, sad day. Before the world, how's the UK reacting? Just since we've been on air, the numbers of people have swollen outside Buckingham Palace. The floral tributes outside of Windsor Castle have become from a little trickle earlier to basically a sea of flowers. An incredible outpouring of emotion.
Well, they have. Good morning, Koshi. Good morning, Nat. I mean, this is something that I don't think we will have seen for many, many years. Certainly, I mean, from when Princess Diana died, I remember the scenes that came over the next few days. But this is an outpouring of emotion across the world that I think we have never seen before. And that gives you an indication of what sort of person the Queen was, how many lives she touched. I mean, we're talking millions of people have flocked to social media, all news websites across the world to really get a sense of this tremendous occasion. And I think that the scenes you're seeing outside Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle and at Balmoral will just multiply and multiply as the days go on, because the people really want to get a sense of the occasion, to pay their respects. I think people have been absolutely overawed that this is a day that they never thought would happen, even though the Queen was in such her later years, 96, and had been in ill health recently. But the Queen was like an aura. She was a person that was always present, and I think the world looks very, very, very different to her.
And she was an aura right through to almost the end, Russell. The last public photos taken were those ones released, of course, of her greeting the new Prime Minister, Liz Truss, in that beautiful room. And she was on her feet. Of course, she had the walking stick, which we've seen her many times, but she looked lovely.
She did, Nat, and how beautiful that these pictures show her smiling. I mean, it tells an awful lot about the woman, perhaps her final legacy, that she was absolutely steadfast in her duty. I mean, we hadn't seen her in public since July the 21st, when she arrived at Aberdeen Airport for her beginning of her Scottish holiday. She'd been taking it very, very easy, I understand. Also, her mobility problems have been increasing, unfortunately, in recent weeks, and sort of stopped her ability to get about as much. But she was absolutely determined that she would welcome Liz Truss as her 15th Prime Minister. And she had a packed schedule that day. And people that I've spoken to today who said they saw her on that Tuesday said that she was still bright-eyed, she was still smiling, getting on with the job. And sadly, it does seem that did take an awful lot out of her and has led us to this tremendously, tremendously sad day.
Yeah, Russell, what are you hearing on the streets as you walk to the studio? My daughter's been sending me photos of course, all the bus shelters have electronic billboards now. They're all of the Queen, portraits of the Queen, everywhere through London.
Well, just to give you a sense of what is happening in the city, I mean, I've been, across different parts of our offices and studios, and everywhere you go, people are, it seems time has stopped still. Piccadilly Circus, I mean, one of the world's busiest junctions, has stopped. The black cabs in London paying their own silent tribute earlier today. People in London hugging strangers, crying, sharing details of perhaps stories of their favourite story when they may have even seen the Queen or someone met someone. I mean, this is just something that it really, really is unquantifiable. The world does seem to have stopped. And I think over the next few days, we're going to see a tremendous outpouring of grief, just not only listening to the world leaders and paying tremendous tributes to her, but there will be millions upon millions of people who will not only across the world, but maybe even flock to London to try and gain a sense of the atmosphere and this tremendously huge occasion.
This is on every bus shelter throughout London.
Oh, that's the photo.
Isn't that beautiful?
Well, I mean,
isn't it just lovely?
All these images that we're seeing of the Queen give you a sense of her longevity. I mean, 70 years on the throne, never to be repeated, I'm sure. And the lives that she has touched, I mean, is unquantifiable at this stage.
And Russell, interesting that people want to be. I mean, it's 11:30 p.m. in London right now, and we're still seeing many people out in the streets. This is a live shot of outside the gates of Buckingham Palace. People wandering around, wanting to be out with others to sort of share, to remember.
Well, absolutely. And I've just spoken to one of our reporters at Buckingham Palace, and he said it was even getting busier as the last couple of hours have gone by. And floral tributes will, of course, be laid at the main palaces. I think, as you said, this outpouring of grief is absolutely tremendous, and it won't be just in the UK. I know that the level of affection for the Queen is absolutely huge. So, over the next few days, I think we're going to see some extraordinary scenes.
Yeah. Russell, what's next for the royal family? How long will they be in mourning?
Well, royal mourning officially goes on for a month. The national mourning lasts a week, and it's quite interesting because the Queen has died in Scotland. Of course, there are so many plans and so many different instances which could have happened, but dying in Scotland really does set a new plan in place. I mean, Operation